skeptical.
Okay.
Oh, come on.
Good morning. Welcome to the Crow Wing County Board of Commissioners regular meeting. Would you please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First thing on the agenda is open forum. Jane Brecken. Three minutes. Please state your name and address.
Good morning. My name is Jane Brecken. I am here today alongside many of our neighbors to discuss what brings us to these chambers, Crow Wing County's 287G Task Force and Warrant Service Officer Program agreements with ICE. Right out of the gate, I want to clear the air and directly address some of the labels that have been thrown around at recent board meetings and on social media. We're not radicals. We are your constituents, your neighbors, and community volunteers. We are not anti-law enforcement. In fact, I want to explicitly state that we agree that there must be accountability for anyone who commits a crime in our community. We support our local law enforcement, and the absolute best way to support them is by fostering the most transparent, high-trust relationships possible between deputies and the people they have sworn to protect, all people who call our county home. I am here today out of a deep commitment to three things: transparency, compassion, and community trust. When local law enforcement is deputized to handle federal civil immigration enforcement, it changes the dynamic on our streets. To keep our community safe, victims and witnesses of crimes need to feel safe calling 911. When that trust erodes, everyone becomes less safe. Furthermore, these agreements expose our county to significant legal and financial liability. We are curious to know how many individuals have been detained for ICE in the Crow Wing County Jail under the IGSA agreement. How many people have been unlawfully detained based on civil immigration holds that conflict with state law limits? Has the county been paid and reimbursed for the hours deputies have spent on ICE-related tasks and jail space used? These are not radical questions. They are practical, responsible questions about how our county is run. We request the board to add this item to an upcoming agenda for public discussion. Our presence here is proof that our community is not entirely united on this issue. There are deeply held concerns, and a public discussion would be beneficial to share data and information that will help us determine the best course of action. Our stances and requests are completely transparent. The county records these board meetings and makes them public on YouTube, and we welcome anyone listening or watching at home to view the archives, listen to our positions, and judge them on their own merits. We are asking you to lead with responsibility, dignity, integrity, accountability, and transparency. This agreement has brought division, but through open, honest data and communication, we can find a path toward healing and unity for all of Crow Wing County. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, review and approval of the minutes of the May 26th meeting.
Madam Chair, I'll make the motion to approve the county board meeting minutes for May 26, 2026.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Barrows, second by Commissioner Coring. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Review and approve the agenda.
Madam Chair, I do have two additions to the agenda for your consideration this morning. One, we received a new on-sale and Sunday liquor license application for North Central Speedway. I'd like to add that to the list of on-sale and Sunday licenses on the consent agenda. It came in after the agenda was sent out, so that one is the first one. Secondly, we also received a notice of resignation from an HRA board member. We'd like to add that to additional business this afternoon, please, or this morning.
Madam Chair, I would move the agenda with the changes.
Oh, great. Do I
I'll
have
second it.
I have a motion by Commissioner Coring, second by Commissioner Lee. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda.
Madam Chair, I'd make a motion to approve the consent agenda. With one question, Deb, did you say you wanted to put the liquor license on the consent agenda?
Yes, I would add it to that list of, there's already an on sale on Sunday list of licenses. We just add that to the list.
Yeah, with that addition, Madam Chair.
Second.
Second by Commissioner, we have a motion by Commissioner Lubke, second by Commissioner Coring. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Land Services.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. We have 6 items for your consideration this morning. Excuse me. The first request today is for a land use map amendment for parcel number 73040571, located in section 4 of Lake Edward Township. The request is to amend the land use map from waterfront commercial to shoreland involving approximately 4.88 acres. Can we go to the map on page 89 of the packet to see the location of the property and the current zoning? So here we have, this is Pelican here, this would be County Road 4, and then this would be County Road 18, is the properties right here. This is the parcel in question, it is currently zoned waterfront commercial. This is the blue here that you would see would be the shoreland district, the residential shoreland district. The yellow would be RR 2.5. The request is that they want to rezone this commercial to match up with the shoreland, and then the remainder being back here, that 2.5 acre zoning. So the Planning Commission Board of Adjustment held a public hearing on May 21st and made a unanimous recommendation of the board to approve the land use map amendment for parcel 73040571 from waterfront commercial to shoreland and RR 2.5. The PCBOA did develop a finding of fact, which is located on page 136 of your packet. Just for clarification, also, the Planning Commission and Board of Adjustment did approve a conditional use permit for a resort conversion to a residential use. Condition number 4 of the conditional use permit requires the land use map amendment to be approved from waterfront commercial to shoreland. Condition number 5 requires the property to be platted if the lots are to be sold individually, which is the next application. Based on the application submitted, staff packet, public comments, and the finding of fact is recommended to approve the land use map amendment as submitted. The township did not submit any comments. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Madam Chair, Chris, on this one, under the conditions under number 9, it talks about the footprint of each of these buildings that currently exist will remain the same.
Correct.
Including the height.
Correct. So there'd be no, so what they're allowed to do with that conditional use permit with that resort expansion is that they're allowed to basically have the buildings that they have there today with no future expansion, either in footprint or in height. So they can replace the structures, but they can never make them any larger or any bigger than what's there today.
And how are they handling the septic system?
That's all going to be a community, so when this will all be set up under a homeowners association, and that's on the common open space, and that'll be managed through that. We have a number of these throughout the county where these resort conversions were for a residential development, so it would be a shared activity. They've got declarations and covenants that they'll be recording to make sure that everybody has an ownership in that outlot and a plan for maintenance of roads, maintenance of the beach area, maintenance of the septic system and that. So it's all a shared activity within the development.
Well, I know it's a healthy review because we've got about 400 pages in our packet.
Correct. Yeah, and a lot of those comments were basically retread comments from back in 2021.
Correct.
And so they went through this process in 2021 and decided to pull the application. You then made an ordinance amendment in 2020, I believe it was 2023, to adopt the state standards for resort conversions and not have the additional standards that were put in place requiring variance and that sort of thing. So.
And I know there was concern about the number of moorings for boats out there. You know, looking at the history, it doesn't look like we're changing the number that they've had in the past. So
Yep.
I think that concern is not well-founded at this point.
Correct, and we've got information from the DNR as well that supports that 11 mooring spaces. And part of there was the use of like concrete pillars out in the lake. Part of the conditions to remove those from the lake, put all the docks on one consolidated dock so that we're not having, you know, a scattering of docks out there. So I do really think it's an improvement versus what's there today.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, couple of questions. Now, this is going to be a planned unit community, or as they would say, so would there be covenants that they would have? But those covenants aren't enforceable by us at all, right?
Correct. Any sort of covenants and declarations are handled internally amongst themselves. So the conditional use permit conditions that we have, those are the conditions that the county will be able to enforce to maintain
Will be able to
compliance.
enforce.
We can enforce the conditions of the permit, correct?
If they would, if all of a sudden, you know, we say we don't want it to be any higher, we don't want to be this, and 30 years from now, or, well, how many ever years from now, all of a sudden, somebody comes in and says, we'd like a variance on that.
We would point back to the conditional use permit that says no expansion allowed. So they could always apply for a variance.
They
Nothing
still
could stop
apply
them
for it.
from
There's nothing
applying.
that locks it in and says it'll never, ever change.
They could apply for a variance, but they wouldn't be successful with the conditional use permit that was in place. That would basically stop them from expanding those buildings. Yep.
It would still come in front of the planning commission.
They would still get from the planning commission. They'd still
Planning
have-
commission could sit there and say, we would approve that variance.
They could, but I think looking back at the documentation that we have in the file for this, it's pretty clear, no expansion will be allowed.
Okay. That was just one question, because I think we've had that in the past, where we want to make sure it's very clear that it can't be
Correct.
changed.
Yes.
So, okay, thank you. Oh, wait, one other question. When you say footprint, is that going to mean if they wanted to, gee, we'd like to put a deck out here, a covered deck out here, we want to do this, we want to do that, the way it sits, that is the way it will be?
That's the square footage they have on the ground today is what they are allowed to have. No additions with decks or patios or anything along those lines. They get what they get today.
Okay, thank you.
Discussion. May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, if there are no other questions or concerns, I would make the motion to approve the application for the, I want to figure out, for the land use map amendment.
Is there a second?
Madam Chair, I'll second that 6.1.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Barrows, second by Commissioner Lubke. We've had the discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The second request is for the preliminary plat of Pelican Beach Reserve, excuse me, for parcel number 7304-0571, located in section 4 of Lake Edward Township. The request is to approve a preliminary plat consisting of 13 lots, 11 residential and 2 common lots. The total size of the parcel before subdividing is approximately 4.88 acres. The plat is located on the Pelican Lake, which is classified as general development. If we go to page 470, this is the plat. This again just shows us the location we're at. We talked about the zoning before. If we can go to the next page, next one. You were at the right spot, Amber. I should have not had you jump back. So this would be the individual cabins that you see here with the numbers. Lot 12 is the common open space on everything east of County Road 4. And then this is the common open space and everything that'd be west of County Road 4. So in essence, this would be the 2.5 acre zoning. This is going to be now the commercial zoning, or excuse me, the residential zoning in the Shoreland District. And these are the lots that are being proposed as part of the plat. The Planning Commission held a public hearing on May 21st of 2026 for the preliminary plat of Pelican Beach Reserve, consisting of 13 lots, 11 residential and 2 common lots. The PCBOA developed the finding of fact, which is located on pages 518 and 519 of the packet. As a reminder, condition number 5 of the CUP requires the property to be platted if the lots should be sold individually. Based on the application submitted, staff packet, public comments, and the finding of fact, it is recommended to approve the preliminary plat of Pelican Beach Reserve as submitted. The township did not submit a comment. We received comments from the DNR with no concerns. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Madam Chair, just one question. Am I missing a number 2 cabin?
It's right, it's hard to see, but there's a duplex right here. So it's 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
So yeah, so there's a duplex.
Just wanted to make sure for the plat that we had them all accounted for.
We had them all in there, yep.
Yep.
Madam Chair, Chris, will those then, separate cabins all have separate PID numbers then? Will they be
They will.
separate properties
They
and they'll
will.
be separately taxed?
Correct.
And then do you take a percentage of the common common and put it with
Correct.
those?
Yep, they're all gonna have an individual ownership in that common outlot, so so their tax value will have their individual lot plus the percentage of the open space.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Madam Chair, if there are no other questions or concerns, I would make the motion to approve the preliminary plat of Pelican Beach Reserve with 13 lots.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that, Madam Chair.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Barrows, second by Commissioner Lubke. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The third request is for the preliminary plat of Oak Ridge Terrace, excuse me, for parcel number 7706-0515, located in Section 6 of Mission Township. The request is to approve a preliminary plat consisting of 5 lots. The total size of the parcel before subdividing is approximately 18 acres. Can we go up to page 851 quick? Thank you. So just want to make sure location-wise, we have County Road 3 here. We're just south of Cross Lake. This would be Fawn Lake Road here. The parcel in question is here. So this is actually a piece of property that's zoned commercial, and so this is a commercial development. Then if we can go to the plat, then that would be great. So are you able to zoom in a little bit on that? Could we make that just a little bit bigger? There. Maybe that's as big as we're going to get it. So there we go. That helps. So this is up in Mission Township, and so Mission Township has part of has their own planning commission, so they have a separate approval process from this. This has gone through the process, and Mission Township has approved this. They actually approved this on April 13th of 2026. So we have 2 lots here, and those were already approved through the administrative subdivision process. And so now for them to do any more subdivision requires them to plat. We have lots 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 is the large lot here to the south. So there's 5 total lots there. The Planning Commission held a public hearing on May 21st of 2026 for the preliminary plat of Oak Ridge Terrace. The PCBOA did develop a finding of fact, which is located on page 870 to 871 of the packet. And based on the application submitted, staff packet, public comments, and the finding of fact is recommended to approve the preliminary plat of Oak Ridge Terrace as submitted. The township, as I mentioned, did approve the plat on April 13th of this year. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Madam Chair. So Chris, can you just explain the process now that Mission Township is, taking, I don't think, they're not doing all their planning and zoning, they're doing partial. So would a person submit an application to them first, and then if that's approved there, rather than paying the county?
No.
How does it
Chair,
work?
Christian Corning, that's a great question. And so it's a concurrent process. And so when somebody wants to come in and do a subdivision up in Mission Township, we still have our development review team meeting, and Mission Township attends that meeting as well. And what they do is they apply with Mission Township and Crow County at the same time, and it just is a concurrent, it goes down concurrently, so it's at the same time. So they do have to go through the application process up in Mission, they have to pay the appropriate fees in Mission, and then they also have to have the same application at the county and apply for the same, get their approval from the county as well. So it's a double process.
Double process. So Madam Chair, so Chris, then if it fails at the Mission Township level, then the whole thing is blowing up.
Correct. It doesn't come, if it doesn't get approved by Mission, then it doesn't come to the county. Final approval won't come to the county.
Then do we refund whatever
Whatever fees they paid to us, we would refund to them.
Okay,
Yeah.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just as a point of interest, Ideal Township recently adopted the same ordinance. So they've mirrored the Mission ordinance, so any subdivision platting goes through Ideal Township as well. And it's the same concurrent process as we have in Mission, it's the same for Ideal Township as well. I think the townships, the Mission and Ideal are concerned about roads and making sure that they're part of that process in the front end. If they're expected to maintain the roads, they want to be part of that process at the beginning of it. So they want to be more on the front end of these platting processes. So I think that's the intent behind it.
So Madam Chair, may I ask another question? So the townships, even if they're not doing this part of the planning, they all have an opportunity. I think the county, being that they've delegated their authority to the county as far as planning and zoning, they all have the right to come to the dirt meeting and weigh in on, at that point, right? But it's not, it's more advisory then, as far as on their part.
Correct, and I think it's important to remember too, that it's not that the townships have delegated their authority to us. By statute, we have, but we are the authority for townships unless they choose to take that authority. So they really haven't delegated anything to us. We
Okay.
have that authority. You have townships like Irondale and Crow Wing, which have opted to take the full book of business of planning and zoning, where we don't even get involved in that. And then you have Mission and Ideal, which have taken, I'd argue, a chapter out of the book of business for planning and zoning, and have decided they want to be part of that regulatory piece and not just making recommendations like you mentioned.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Any other questions? Not, can I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the preliminary plat for Oak Ridge Terrace.
I'll second it.
Motion by Commissioner Lubke, second by Commissioner Lee. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The fourth request is for the preliminary plat of Hooker Landing. This is for parcel number 600060516, located in Section 6 of Fairfield Township. The request is to approve a preliminary plat consisting of 2 lots. The total size of the parcel before subdividing is approximately 15 acres. This piece of property is located on Pickerel Lake, which is considered a natural environment lake. If you go to page 875, you'll find the locator map and the zoning. And so the parcel is located here. Pickerel Lane comes up, it actually comes up off the Bonnie Lake Road. We're really close to, this would be Cross Lake over here. This will be the location of the parcel in question. If we could go to the survey. Thank you. So this is what's being had. So you basically have lot 1 and lot 2. They're basically just taking the lot and in essence splitting it in half. And then this would be the access to get up here to these lots. And then the Planning Commission did approve a variance on this one to allow a 33-foot easement to access the parcel instead of the required 66-foot requirement due to the fact there's an existing 33-foot easement in place now. The Planning Commission did hold a public hearing on May 21st of 2026 for the preliminary plat of Hooker Landing. The Planning Commission developed the finding of fact, which is located on pages 884 to 885 of the packet. And based on the application submitted, staff packet, public comments, and the finding of fact, it is recommended to approve the preliminary plat of Hooker Landing as submitted. The township did not provide any comments on this request. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Hearing none, all those, can I have a motion?
I'll make the motion. I can get to where it's at here. Approve the preliminary plat of Hooker Landing consisting of 2 lots.
Is there a second?
I'll second that, Madam Chair.
Motion by Commissioner Lee, second by Commissioner Lubke. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The fifth request is another preliminary plat. This is for the preliminary plat of Ann Lake Acres for parcel number 59160504, located in section 16 of Deerwood Township. The request is to approve a preliminary plat consisting of 2 lots. The total size of the lot before subdividing is approximately 38 acres with 6 acres that can be subdivided. If you go to page 907, you'll find the locator map and the zoning map. So again, you got State Highway 6, you have Swanson Road coming up. This is Ann Lake here. It's one of those interesting parcels where they actually have ownership under the lake, but the only part that they can subdivide is that land that is above their high water mark of the lake. If we go to that next page, one more, there it is. So these are lots that they're going to create. There is an existing 33-foot easement through here that technically is a cartway that was approved. So the PCBOA did approve a variance to allow a 33-foot easement here to access this parcel instead of the required 66-foot requirement because of that previous action. The Planning Commission Board of Adjustment held a public hearing on May 21st for the preliminary plat of Ann Lake Acres. They developed the finding of fact, which is located on pages 917 to 918 of the packet for your review. And based on the application submitted, staff packet, public comments, and the finding of fact, it is recommended to approve the preliminary plat of Ann Lake Acres as submitted. The township made a recommendation of approval on May 11th of 2026. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Madam Chair, northeast corner, is that buildable?
No, it is not. It is part of the, because as you mentioned, the lot actually goes under the lake. That is not, it's just part of that's there, but it's not no, the lots that are buildable are right here, and they meet all the requirements for buildable area, lot size, and has 2 septic locations.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Not, can I have a motion?
I will make that motion as well.
Second.
I'll second that motion, Madam Chair.
We have a motion by Commissioner Lee, second by Commissioner Lubke. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The final request is for the final plat of Riverwood Shores on Whitefish for parcel numbers 7212-0549 and 7212-0550, located in Section 12 of Jenkins Township. All requirements have been met for the final plat application that we recommend approval as submitted. Jenkins Township recommended approval on April 15th of 2025. Jenkins Township has also been they are agreeing to maintain the road based on a couple other things that need to be done, but Jenkins Township will ultimately be the road authority for the road being put in. Just as a reminder, this was approved by the Planning Commission back in April 17th of 2025, and they recommended approval of the preliminary plat to the board, which you approved on May 13th. And then they built the road in this situation instead of doing the developer's agreement, and so that's why it's taken the time frame to get here today for that final plat. They did have to get an extension from the Planning Commission back in April to allow the final plat to go beyond the 12-month requirement. So I'd be happy to answer any questions and would recommend approval of the final plat of Riverwood Shores on Whitefish.
I have a question, Madam Chair. You know, we're approving the final plat. All the work isn't done out there yet. The road hasn't been, it hasn't been bit yet. I know that's been.
The road is completed.
Did they finally get it? Because the last week or so when I was out there, it was still
Jim
gravel.
Kramer is here, he can address the
Right,
road if he has
so
some
they got it
questions.
all
But
good,
but the road is, my understanding is that.
Now, is that normally, would we approve a final plat if the road wasn't to bit, even because we're not the road authority?
We would, depending on the process they wanted to go through. So the ordinance basically allows you to either build the road up to spec before we approve the final plat, or they would get a developer's agreement in place, which would put 125% of the engineer's estimated cost to build the road. They didn't want to put the money up front. They chose to build the road instead, and so that's why
That's why it took a little longer.
That's why it's a little bit longer to go there.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, just wanted to clear that up. Okay, thank you. I have no other questions, Madam Chair.
Any other questions? Hearing none. Can I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'll make the motion to approve the final plat for Riverwood Shores on Whitefish.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Lubke, second by Commissioner Barrows. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
County Sheriff?
Madam Chair, members of the board, Clayton Barr, Crow Wing County's Emergency Management Director. Thank you again for taking the time to talk with me this morning regarding a standardized countywide outdoor warning siren maintenance program. The last time we spoke, I worked on drafting an RFP, which was approved by the board and sent out for proposals. We received 5 proposals back from that RFP. That closed on May 15th. The intent was to have those proposals graded and ranked the following week, but with the Flanders wildfire, it put us back a little bit. But those proposals have been reviewed, and I'd like to go through those proposals with you this morning. So we received 5 proposals, all of which from different vendors throughout that had done maintenance or installation of sirens throughout the county. And of those 5 proposals, they were graded on 5 different areas. The first was relevant experience and technical capability. The second being ability to meet the required deadlines set forth in the RFP. Third was the compliance with scope of work and inventory requirements. Fourth was the cost effectiveness and clarity of pricing. And the 5th was quality of references that they had provided. There was one proposal that stood out above the rest, And it was also the only proposal that listed references and points of contact for those references as well. This vendor, of the references they provided, also demonstrated that they had relative experience with countywide maintenance programs for outdoor warning sirens. I reached out to all three vendors and spoke with them regarding their experiences with this vendor. All of them had said that they were very pleased with the vendor's performance and communication throughout the contract that they currently have with the vendor. This vendor also is currently doing maintenance within Crow Wing County, either already has maintenance contracts with or has done service on Crow Wing County sirens at different municipalities. These include the City of Cross Lake, City of Emily, City of Breezy Point, City of Pequot Lakes, and the City of Brainerd, and in 2 townships, Ideal and Fairfield Township as well. So this vendor has, again, done maintenance on sirens in the county and has, again, performed very well, and have heard nothing but positive feedback from these different cities and townships on the vendor's quality of work. The vendor that was that ranked the highest and it was included was Emergency Communication Systems. And this morning, just asking the county to accept that proposal. And moving forward will be myself going to the individual city and township boards to establish a memorandum of agreement to sign on to the, again, county-wide preventive maintenance program for our outdoor warning sirens. The individual cities and townships are the ones responsible for maintaining those sirens, and this would allow them to have and for the county to have a standardized maintenance program throughout the county at a reduced rate that many of them are currently paying. So they'd be able to have a reduced rate for those annual maintenance programs, which some already hold. At this time, I'm open to any questions.
Madam Chair, if I can just, Clayton, on this agreement, you said that you're asking for us to approve it, and then you're going to go to the individual communities and ask them to approve it. Does the vendor understand that there's no agreement unless there's I don't know if there's a percentage of those that have to agree to this?
Correct. So the vendor gave on the proposal, we, in our RFP also, because not knowing that if all the different municipalities and townships would want to sign on to the contract. So we'd ask for, in the proposal, to have it kind of broken down. So the number of sirens, 1 to 24. So if we can get 1 to 24 sirens, the cost would be $700 per site for a maintenance. 25 to 44 would be $600, and 44 or more, or 45 or more, which is our hope to have, again, the majority, if not all of our sirens, would be brought down then to $575. So the vendor is aware that there may be only a handful that actually want to sign onto the program, but it would give the option to others to be able to sign on later if they so choose.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, that's per year, right?
Correct, per year.
Okay. Is Brainerd and Baxter at all, or are they doing something different? You didn't mention their names, I don't think.
Yep, Brainerd just had a siren, a newest siren installed by this vendor, Emergency Communication Systems, within the last 2 months. So they just had a brand new siren installed, utilizing them.
If they chose to go on with the same contract, would they be, are they paying a different rate now? Do you know what they're paying for maintenance on theirs, or how do they do that?
I don't have the specifics as far as what they're paying per site, or a lot of the different townships and the cities are, you know, if something happens, then they'll look at getting it, because when we do our monthly siren drills or tests, then folks will call us and say, you know, certain sirens aren't working. So then we'll reach out to the cities and municipalities and let them know, and then it's on them to try to get those repaired. A lot of agencies will do battery swaps every 4 to 5 years as per recommended maintenance. But when it comes to specifics, when greasing the siren heads, a lot of that preventative maintenance aspects aren't being performed. So this would, again, this maintenance contract would ensure that from the top to the bottom, from the siren head to the grounding rod, all get inspected every year, so that when we here at the Sheriff's Office and our Emergency Dispatch Center set off those sirens or activate those sirens, we have good faith and confidence that those will function when the time is right.
And as far as I know, or you correct me if I'm wrong, we do not have any sirens per se as part of Crow Wing County in either the first assessment or the second assessment district, correct?
Correct. And currently looking at potentially, as an option, putting in sirens in those two, as previously mentioned from the board, and working with local businesses as far as potential locations. And also I've reached out to Federal Signal as well, looking at different sound maps. Where would the best placement be? And once having that, they'll come back in front of the board and get your guidance for further
So
action.
other than your time devoted to getting everybody on one page, there hasn't really been any cost to the county for any of this. This is all going to go to the different jurisdictions to pick it up, to pick up
Correct.
the cost of that.
Correct. That's correct, Commissioner. And in fact, like I mentioned, having a standardized maintenance program will allow us to know, yes, that the maintenance is being performed. It's being done at a set standard throughout the county on all the different siren sites for those who wish to be part of the contract. And it also allow me as the Emergency Management Director for Crow Wing County to have an understanding of what maintenance may need to be upgraded as far as our communications boards on the sirens, or if any of the sirens are needed for aluminum cabinets that are currently still steel cabinets, and then working with the cities and townships of grant opportunities in that, where we can get those repaired and brought all of our sirens up to a set standard, and then working and looking at different state or federal grant opportunities to make our sirens two-way cellular capable, which would allow our dispatch center to see actually whether or not the sirens are activated when they get set off. Right now, when they send that signal out to the sirens, unless somebody tells us at the specific site that they're going off or they're not working, we don't know if they're actually being working. Where that two-way cellular option would allow us to specifically see, yes, the siren is activated, yes, it is rotating, and also a direct communication path where it'll tell you if the batteries are having issues, or if, let's say, it got struck by lightning, it would give us that information ahead of time so we could be proactive and make sure that everything is up and operational as quickly as possible.
Madam Chair. Clayton, I want to personally thank you for the job you're doing. I am just amazed at the job you've been doing. You're not just sitting there in your office waiting for something to happen. You're being proactive. I would have never thought about trying to coordinate all this to make sure that all these tornado sirens are working, and so I appreciate that. And Commissioner Lee and I went up when the fire was roaring, and I'll tell you what, you were all hands-on all over everything, and so I appreciate that very much. You're doing one hell of a job, I think, and it's much appreciated.
Thanks, sir.
Madam Chair, if there's no other questions or concerns, I would make the motion to accept the proposal from Emergency Communication Systems for the annual maintenance of Crow Wing County's outdoor warning sirens from July 1, 2026 through June 30th, 2028. That's a 2-year contract.
I'll second it.
I have a motion by Commissioner Barrows, second by Commissioner Lee. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there?
Thank you, Clayton.
Okay, County Attorney.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. I don't have anything for you this morning, but I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
County Administrator.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, yesterday our senior management team met with the Capital Improvement Plan Advisory Committee, and we reviewed the 7-year CIP plan with the SMT and the committee. The items will be coming to you at a budget committee coming up in July, so you'll be seeing the CIP plan. I just want to put a little plug in that it's now a longer range plan than it was last year, so we're continuing that planful thought process of making sure that we're identifying whatever might be out on the horizon from a capital perspective. We also had some discussion around several HR-related items, including an agreement by the team to put a pause on our employee engagement pulse survey this year. There wasn't a particular topic that we were looking to get further information on. You may recall that we survey our employee engagement every 2 years. And in the past, we've also taken that off year to kind of delve into a deeper dive subject at this point. We don't have anything pressing that we felt the need to have to dig into. So we'll come back to that as the full year cycle survey again in 2027. And then finally, we discussed some standard template changes for our employee badges. So new employees and those who need their badges replaced, we'll start to see some changes on those badges from a template perspective as well. That's all I have for you today, unless any of you have questions for me.
No. Additional business.
Madam Chair, under additional business, we did receive a resignation from one of the HRA board members. District 5, Michael Awley, submitted his resignation. The action before you today would be to accept the resignation and issue a certificate of appreciation. And then Commissioner Lee is in the process of finding a replacement at this point, and that will come before you at a later date.
I'll make a motion to accept the resignation and issue the certificate.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Lee, second by Commissioner Coring. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All I have, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Madam Chair, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, you go first.
No, why don't you go
No,
first?
you go first.
No, you go first.
Nope.
We'll go alphabetically. Commissioner Barrows.
Thank you. Just want to remind everybody that June 14th is National Flag Day, June 15th, Father's Day, don't forget, and June 19th is Juneteenth. Offices will be closed that day, but it's a holiday to celebrate. And with that, that's the end of my remarks.
Madam Chair, something jumped out at me this morning. You know, last county board meeting, we had a lot of folks here, and we got a lot of folks here today. And the first thing that jumped out is, and I never thought of this before until today, that when a resident gets up, they actually give their address. And this is a question to the county board and the county administrator. Wouldn't it be the way the world is now, with the legislators that were murdered and the senator that was shot, and as crazy as the world seems to be getting, I'm just wondering, when somebody comes here, is there any need for them to say their address? Maybe if they just say what town they're from, or I don't even know if that would be necessary. That's their right to come here and speak. But I just don't know that they need to give their address, because if somebody's watching this and they want to harass them, I don't think that would be proper. So I don't know what everybody else thinks, but I think we should stop asking people for their address.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Coring, we do not record the address in the minutes, but you're right, because of the fact that it is on video, it is now out there into perpetuity. There's no requirement that they have to provide their address. That has been a tact that the board has taken to ensure that the folks who are speaking are Crow Wing County residents. So however you would choose to proceed with that is your choice.
I would think it just maybe stating the town that they live in, but I don't know that they need to state their address. I don't know what the rest of the county board thinks, but I know that the legislature has made some changes. I think that when you're a legislator, your address is masked now, and I believe the judges are masked, and you know, the world has gotten very violent, and so I don't know what the rest of you think, but I don't think there's any need for somebody to give their address here. I don't think.
Madam Chair, maybe we could do something where we want to know the person's in this county that's coming up and speaking. Could they just say, you know, that yes, I am a resident of Crow Wing County and I live in district. If they gave the district, then we'd know what district they're in.
I don't think they know what a lot of people don't know necessarily.
Not everybody.
They could say the township they live in.
They could live in the township, or they could leave the city. That would suffice.
Just a thought. I don't know.
I think it's a good thought.
Madam Chair, I don't need an address either. I know a lot of people out in the audience, no matter what audience is in our boardroom, so I'm comfortable with just a name. I do have one additional business item, though. I need to correct Father's Day, which is June 21st, not the 15th, so.
I'm wondering where you come up with that.
So, well, I'm so excited about being a father. It should be every day. So I apologize for that mistake.
So do we have a consensus that we're going to do things different, or what do you think?
I believe that's what I'm hearing from the board. We will update our forms for public forum, and the procedure will just be to state their name and whatever city or township they're in.
Right.
Perfect. Motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion by
That other
Commissioner.
side of the table is awful quiet when it comes to adjournment.
They want to stay.
Just enjoy it way too much.
Motion by Commissioner Coring, second by Commissioner Barrows. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.